This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 407, Overcoming Limiting Financial Beliefs, Part 1, by Steve Pavlina of stevepavlina.com. And I am Dan, your host, here each Monday through Friday, reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And today I'll be narrating the first half of a post that's a little bit longer from Steve Pavlina. But before we get to it, big thanks to SaneBox for sponsoring today's episode. Do you have a ton of emails backed up? If you're not at Inbox Zero, check out SaneBox. It sorts through your email and moves all of the trivial stuff into a different folder, so the only messages in your inbox are the ones you actually want to see. Get a free 14-day trial by visiting sanebox.com/finance. That's sanebox.com/finance. And now let's get right to part 1 of this post as we optimize your life. Overcoming Limiting Financial Beliefs, Part 1, by Steve Pavlina of stevepavlina.com. What limiting financial beliefs are holding you back from achieving all the wealth and abundance you deserve? The $1 Million Experiment has yielded a surge of emails containing stories of how participants have uncovered and broken through self-limiting financial beliefs. Even those who haven't manifested any money yet have told me how the simple act of focusing on attracting greater wealth and abundance for the highest good of all has caused internal resistance to surface. And then such resistance can be dealt with consciously. A few people have told me that overcoming these hidden blocks is even more important than the money itself. Everyone seems to have different blocks. For some people, it's the notion of having excess cash, more than is needed for survival, that causes discomfort. For others, it's the whole idea of being rich and the negative associations they've learned to connect with rich people: greedy, selfish, evil, corrupt, etc. And some people have told me it's a self-esteem problem that has to do with feeling undeserving of extra money and therefore being blind to financial opportunities. Tony Robbins devotes a segment of his Personal Power 2 program to the topic of financial mastery. And he says the primary reason we don't experience financial abundance is that we have negative associations to having more money than we need. That's a controversial statement, but I think he's spot on. The hard part, though, is identifying what these blocks are. Most are installed in early childhood, and they become so internalized that we're usually not even consciously aware of them. We take such limiting beliefs for granted without even noticing how readily they sabotage us or how downright stupid they are. My number one financial block was my resistance to the concept of making money very easily, almost effortlessly. I learned in childhood that money was the result of hard work. Although I received occasional gifts for holidays and birthdays, if I wanted extra money, I usually had to labor for it in some way. I carried this belief with me through many years of entrepreneurship. If I wanted to make more money, my strategy always seemed to be based on hard work. This belief seemed very logical and intelligent to me. How could a strong work ethic be a bad thing? But after reading Michael Gerber's The E-Myth, I came to see just how utterly foolish this pattern was. Hard work is great, but this belief was causing me to pass up far easier ways to make money. I was confusing effort with value, and it was making me blind to opportunities for making money by leveraging my value instead of simply working harder and longer. When I started focusing on value instead of effort, I was able to make a decent living by working fewer hours, no more sleeping at the office, and I began establishing multiple streams of income that were largely passive, like royalties, internet sales with automated digital delivery, host beneficiary deals, etc. All of this came about after I dumped the belief that hard work was a requirement for making money. Another belief I dumped was the idea that I had to earn money by trading my time for it. Those changes happened many years ago, but I've continued to uncover and purge more limiting beliefs since then. On the web, you've probably noticed there's an almost cult-like aversion to making money in certain circles. I've seen this to some degree among fellow bloggers. The starving student model is held in high esteem, while entrepreneurial bloggers are seen as more cold and ruthless, as if they somehow care less about their audience or they're just in it for the money. I feel sad for the bloggers who buy into this limiting belief. Realize that whenever you attempt to monetize anything online, people will whine about it, but that doesn't mean you have to succumb to groupthink and sabotage your own financial results in the process. The mentality that everything should be free is popular among teenagers who are still suckling off their parents and who can't afford to pay for much. It's nice to be able to provide some value for free, but that model often doesn't serve the highest good of all. I don't subscribe to the belief system that would have me sacrificing myself on the altar of free. In my opinion, a better model can be found in Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. I don't consider myself an objectivist, but this happens to be one of my all-time favorite fiction books because it conveys such an interesting philosophy. I loved Rand's take on value for value exchanges. People of high integrity deal with each other by trading fair value for value. But those same people deal with manipulative leeches very differently. By the end of the book, they basically leave the leeches behind and refuse to do business with them at all. I'm not so severe as Rand in this philosophy, but I do find it helpful to think of making fair value for value exchanges and ignoring those who make requests which I consider to be unfair or win-lose. I provide lots of free content so that everyone can benefit, but I'm also fair to myself. I want my work to be win-win. You win, I win. But there are quite a number of people who make requests of me that are clearly win-lose. I simply ignore them. As I mentioned in a previous article on selfishness, I believe in finding a place where service to self and service to others become the same thing. I've seen that serious problems result whenever there's a conflict between the two. I have no interest in being a greedy, self-centered, money-hungry pig, nor do I wish to be a self-sacrificing martyr. My greed is directed at increasing abundance for myself and others simultaneously. I put a lot of thought into aligning my good with the highest good of all, such that both are able to point in the same direction. To be continued. You just listened to part 1 of the post titled Overcoming Limiting Financial Beliefs by Steve Pavlina of stevepavlina.com. And once again, today's episode is being brought to you by SaneBox. Organizing your email inbox isn't easy, and if you feel like you can't keep up, check out sanebox.com/finance. SaneBox will get rid of all the junk so you can focus on messages that truly matter. I've mentioned their black hole feature before, and another feature is Sane Reminders, where they automatically remind you when you need a follow-up email. That's just another feature to help keep your inbox sane. And we worked out a special deal for listeners of this show that I want to tell you about. You can visit sanebox.com/finance today, and they'll not only give you a free 2-week trial, but also throw in an extra $25 credit on top of it. You don't have to enter your credit card information unless you decide to buy. Just try it out and see how it helps with your email inbox. Again, you can get all of that at sanebox.com/finance. That's sanebox.com/finance. And that's it for today, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. As always, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in tomorrow's show, where we'll continue this post and where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more, from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com, that's OLDpodcast.com, for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.